All right, hey everybody, Justin here with our off-grid cabin. In today's video, I'm going to be doing mock scrapes following Whitetail Habitat Solutions advice and guidance on the Vine mock scrape. All right, so if you guys are not aware with what a vine mock scrape is, it's basically where you hang a vine, typically like a grapevine, and hang it as a mock scrape the ground. That way when deer come down this trail right here, they will rub it. They'll put all their gland and their scent on it, and it's kind of like a social place. And typically what you do with these is you're creating like a social place. Tends to bring in, it doesn't really bring in more, but it improves the quality of the food plot or your hunting area. So since you guys probably can't see it, behind me we have our food plot in here from the Whitetail Institute's No Plow solution this year. First thing we have to do is scout where we want to put this grapevine. All right, so we found where we want to put this grapevine, or the grapevine, the mock scrape. One thing that we started noticing when they were pounding the ground right here is there's some mineral. The doe like to come over here, and we had a couple buck come over here so far, but the doe really like to come over here, and the bucks cruise this back area, this tall grass, and there's probably, I don't know, 30 feet or so of grass, and they follow this wood line here, right here behind us. And so what I'm going to do is, I believe that right over here will be an awesome place to hang this. But before I hang this, we need to take into consideration a couple things. So the first thing we need to take into consideration is there anything else in the area that resembles a scrape? And for us, luckily for us, 50 feet or so all around this, there is nothing. And actually, we are in heavily thick woods. So the idea is to kind of remove anything that's hanging that can create their own mock scrape here, or the natural scrapes, to bring them here into the food plot. So the second thing we need to take into consideration is the path. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the video, the deer cruise this, the bucks at least, they cruise this high grass right on the other side of the road and ditch, while the does come out here and feed in the food plot so far. Not saying that the does won't go back here, but this is where we're seeing the bucks walk in the distance on our trail cams back here. So where are they at? And actually you can see, I don't know if you guys can see it, but they're jumping literally right here. So they're jumping across this ditch and they're going right there, and they're walking back, as well as cruising down this high grass here. All right, so one of the things I want to mention when we put this up is that the bottom is roughly, I don't know, probably maybe hip to belly button high. It could be a little higher, but so it is, it's right about my belly button, a little bit lower than where that's at. And this is literally just hanging from a tree, and it's a vine. So the next part that we have to focus on, if I can get out into here, is creating this actual scrape on the ground. So what deer like to do is they like to come up to this. The deer, the doe and buck, they'll come by and they'll pee on the ground and kind of scrape the ground. So that's what we're going to imitate today. To do that, we're just going to clear this area on the ground with a stick. We're going to scrape it, get the weeds out of there, and I'm going to pee right into this ground. All right, so there we have it. We just finished up the mock scrape for this food plot. What we did is we took our grapevine, it's about 4 foot long, just to kind of put it in perspective, and we hung it from the branch up here with some kind of like natural ropes to make it blend in. The edge here is right about belly button, maybe hip to belly button high. For me, I'm say about 6 foot. And that should get this going. And that's literally what this is. And I want to thank Jeff from Whitetail Habitat Solutions for his videos. There, a lot of people do this, and he didn't really invent this, but what he did is he did a really good job at explaining it. This right here has been hands down the best improvement that I've done for this property since I've been here. We actually tried it way over there, and I'll see if I have any footage, but man, it brought in literally the deer were attracted to it because there was a lot of ferns around. Like I said, we're going to focus on the food plot across from here. We got the mock scrape, and we got a tree stand up here. And the next step for this mock scrape is literally to pee in it. And every time I come here to the property, let's say maybe once every month or maybe twice every month, while I'm here, because I come to the property a lot more than that, but I'm just going to mind where I step coming over here, and I'm going to pee right in there. All right, before I wrap this video up, I just wanted to add one of the things that is probably really important is knowing that this scrape works. So right behind me there's a scrape here, and I just put up a trail cam. So the trail cam's roughly 15-20 feet from the mock scrape. It's covering up the whole mock scrape, and it is a little higher just to keep it above, so it doesn't look like it right now, but that's actually about 7 foot, and it is this way so that the deer don't really recognize it. But this is one of the improvements that I'm making to food plot number 1, and hope you guys find it useful.